Hey guys, CoralCave here. I just wanted to show you guys a basic guide on how to make some steady income by selling crafted items on the auction house. My friends are always asking me how I make money in WoW, and I tell them I just craft gear and list it on the auction house. Usually they immediately get turned off, like selling gear on the auction house is super hard or something. But let me tell you, I'm really lazy, and if this took a lot of effort, I wouldn't be doing it. So let me show you exactly what I do. The first thing you're going to need is an add-on called Auctionator. I'll leave a link in the description to its curse page. Auctionator is set up to allow you to drag and drop an item into the sell tab and automatically undercut anybody who has a lower price item than you. If you're crafting Legion items with random affixes, you're likely to run into a problem though. When you drag and drop an item into Auctionator's sell frame, it's going to return results for every item that shares that item's base. So say for example you use dread leather bindings. When Auctionator comes back with results, it's going to be for every item that shares the base dread leather bindings that's listed on the auction house. And you may be thinking, oh, well it's just the same item, people are just using it for the Forge quest, I'll list them all cheaper than the lowest base item. Well, if you do that, you're really wasting potential profit. Like, yeah, people are still buying these items for the Forge quest, even a month into Legion, but ultimately you have to remember that this gear is still wearable. There are tons of people who are still gearing up or just want to get their alts into heroics as fast as possible. The reason that this matters is that some random affixes are more desirable than others. Some stat combinations like versatility and haste are likely to sell for the minimum for that item's base type, while other combinations like crit and mastery might fetch even a few hundred more gold. It's not just Legion bracers that I'm selling though, it's gear for all slots that I can craft for as long as it remains profitable. Which brings me to my next tip. Craft everything that you can. One of the best ways to maximize profit from a crafting profession is to craft everything available to your profession. I'll explain how to calculate what is and isn't profitable later, but for now, let's just focus on the facts. If an item is deemed profitable, and there's at least some market demand for that item, it's worth crafting and listing on the auction house. And I know that sounds obvious, but some people still just don't get it. I think sometimes people just get discouraged because they list an item that they've crafted a few times and it doesn't sell. Well, you just need to be vigilant and keep listing it. There is a little trial and error here. Sometimes there's just a very low demand for an item. If you list the same item every day for a week and it never sells, there probably isn't a demand for that item and you just shouldn't craft it anymore. I would recommend crafting one of several different items and listing them all to experiment. Once you see what's selling consistently, you can craft multiple copies of the same item and list them at the same time. The reason you'll want to do this is to ensure that your item is always available to be purchased. Again, it seems obvious, but if you only make, say, one pair of pants and it sells, you don't have any pants available for people to purchase until you craft more and list them. So if someone needs pants, they're just going to buy them off of somebody else who already has them on the auction house. So now let's talk about calculating the crafting costs and profit. To find out if an item is worth crafting, you need to take the cost of materials times the quantity of materials and subtract the total from the lowest current listed auction price for that item. Let's use dread leather bracers as an example again. It takes 110 stonehide leather to make one of these at rank 3, and stonehide leather is around 15 gold each on average on my server, sometimes less, sometimes more, but I go a little high just for safety. So 15 gold for each leather times the 110 leather it takes to create these bracers comes out to 1,650 gold to create the item. I already know that this item sells for between 1,900 and 2,200 gold on average, so it is profitable to create. The next thing I want to talk about is buying mats. As I said earlier, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to go out and farm leather a lot, except maybe when a certain world quest is up. So I'm going to need to buy mats from the auction house to fuel my crafting. Again, if you're doing this, make sure you're checking to see how much an item is selling for before making it, just to make sure it's profitable to buy the mats and craft the item. The easiest way to buy mats is just to go to the auction house and go to the Buy tab in Auctionator. When you're in this tab, just search like you normally would. When the results are in, it will show you every item that you've searched for that is listed on the auction house, priced from lowest to highest. If you're buying a lot, you can just keep clicking the Buy Another button until you have what you need. You'll see that I'm buying some items that aren't necessarily the cheapest, and again, this is just laziness. I'm buying the larger stack sizes because I want it to be easier to check my mail. That might be a good tip if you're a gatherer who just sells mats on the auction house. List in larger stack sizes. They'll likely sell for more. I consider this an investment. I purchased something like 55,000 gold worth of mats to craft gear with, but I know these items I'm crafting are profitable, so it's no big deal. Basically, you'll need to be spending money to make money. It seems that some players might be turned off when they realize that they might need to put some of their money forward to make more, but that's just how it works. The last thing I want to talk about is checking for undercuts, and this one is very important. On some servers, the competition is going to be a little fierce, so people will be periodically undercutting you. If you want your items to sell, you need to do the same. Usually I try to swing past Orgrimmar every few hours, maybe after a round of world quests or after a dungeon or something, just to do a quick check. So luckily Auctionator has a built-in feature to check for undercuts. You just go to the More tab at the bottom and click the Check for Undercuts button. Auctionator will run a scan of the auction house and tell you if any of your items have been undercut. If they have, you just need to click the Start Canceling button to take them down, run to your mailbox, and relist them at a lower price. If you follow these simple tips, you'll be making a steady stream of passive gold in no time.